Good, everybody? Hope everybody's had a great Wednesday. The humidity is on. The heat is on. It is officially summertime. I think as of like 2 days ago, it is officially summertime, and this live is on. So I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for in life besides that. Heat, humidity. It's summertime officially, and we are live right now. I mean, what are you missing? What are you missing? Right now, y'all already know what we do here. You already know what it is. Yes, summertime. For those of y'all old enough to remember that song, that was like the 80s. It had to be the 80s that song came out, summertime. But as y'all checking in, go ahead and make yourself known in the comment section. We're going to get started in a moment. I'm going to give people like 45 seconds. Like 45 seconds. So if you need to go put something in the trash real quick, go to a different room where it's quiet real quick. You can go do that. You got like 45 seconds. Then we're going to get into what we're going to get into here today. The topic, as you can see, we're talking about time perspective and success. You might not understand what that means, but that's why I'm here. You will understand what it means when I get done here today. So as y'all come in, again, you can make yourself known in the comment section, and we're going to get started in less time than you think. June 24th. We're almost halfway through the year. As of June 30th, which is whatever day that is, coming in next week. We in the start of July. We in the second half of the year. We going into quarter number 3. Tay Vaughn, what's going on? G. Bagoja, what's going on? All right, everybody. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Former 9-year professional athlete. I'm the author of 27 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. I've created over 15,000 pieces of content. All of that means what? I do it all under this umbrella of work on your game. That's the philosophy I created, the brand I created, the company that I'm the CEO of. It's all about taking a pro athlete mindset, teach you how to apply that mindset to your business and sport and your life. One of my books is called Work on Your Game. So you didn't know, we do have a book called Work on Your Game. You can get that right here. For whatever reason, Facebook said the network connection is not good right now. We already got an audio book. Every book I've ever made is available in audio, in case anybody didn't know. But anyway, Work on Your Game is for 3 specific types of people. People who want to get better at your game, you want to add skill. People who want to get better at performing, and people who need to get better at getting noticed for your game by the right type of people. You don't necessarily just need to be noticed by everybody, because everybody can't do nothing for you. All right, some people can pay attention to you all day, but they can't do anything to help you get to where you want to get to. You want to get recognized by the right type of people. So that means you got to know who you're targeting, and you got to know how to talk to them, and then you got to get their attention to get what you need, right? So anybody who has any one of those challenges, game, performance, recognition by the right people, Work on Your Game is for you. Is a 4-part framework. It's all about taking the discipline you need to show up every day, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, the mental toughness to stay disciplined and confident even when things aren't working, and the personal initiative to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. If any of you is interested in any of that, then you're in the right place. You are talking to the right person. So the topic we're talking about here today, and that Work on Your Game, you want that audio book, just go to workonyourgamebook.com. So just the title, book.com. That's where you can get the audio book. Anyway, the topic here today is time perspective. I got to give credit to an author by the name of Brian Tracy. I was reading one of his books. Brian Tracy's written a lot of books. He's been in the game. Brian Tracy's been in the game longer than I've been in the game. I think he's probably twice my age, so it makes sense. But he's been in the game for a minute in personal development, and I don't even remember which one of his books it was I was reading. But he told this story of how this guy from Harvard University did like a long-term study. Yeah, you can screen record everything. We doing is free. You do whatever you want. But he did this long-term study because he wanted to examine or prove, I don't know if he already believed it, but he was just examining how do people become successful in life. Because some of y'all who are old enough, or maybe they still do it now, but in school, there used to be this little chart they would have that said people who go to college, this is how much money they end up making in life. And people who don't go to college, this is how much money they end up making. Or people who graduate from high school and people who don't. And they would do this comparison to try to prove to you by this little chart that was not, the experiment was not proper. But anyway, they try to prove to you that if you go to school, the more you go to school, the more money you end up making in life, which we know nowadays that is not completely accurate. Now, do some people go to school and make more money? Yes, but it's not necessarily because of school. I think I would be one example of that in different aspects. But that's a different conversation for a different day. But anyway, this Harvard professor wanted to prove that people make more money in life, or they become more successful. He used money as his measure of success, and he also used like people's relative level of happiness when he would talk to them later on. He did like this long-term study where he wanted to find out what is it that causes people to become successful. Is it how much school they go to? Is it where they live? Is it the type of person they are? Is it who their parents were? And here's the variable that he isolated and identified that Brian Tracy talked about in his book, and I'm going to talk about right now to you. He calls it time perspective. And those of you who never heard of this phrase, time perspective, that's good, because I'm about to explain it to you. So now you can talk to somebody else about it. Time perspective means, and what this Harvard professor found out was that the further ahead into the future a person considers every time they make an action, the higher the probability that that person becomes successful in life. So let me say that in another way. The more successful the individual, the more that person considers the future when they make decisions. And the more successful you want to be, you need to be thinking further and further into the future. So if you think this far into the future, you get this much success. But if you think this much into the future, you get this much more success. The further into the future you consider every decision that you make and every action that you take and all the options that you have, the higher the probability you are on your way to being a successful individual. That's the whole concept of time perspective. And on the other end of time perspective is people who only think about right now. They only think about immediate gratification, because we know that when you do something now that doesn't pay you off anything now, but it does help you in the future, we call that delayed gratification, right? You sit in the room with the marshmallow, don't eat the marshmallow, and then you get 2 marshmallows after the experimenter comes back in the room. Delayed gratification means do something that you do the work now, but it pays off for you later. Instant gratification is you do something now and you want the immediate results of it, and you're not willing to wait to get something better. Investing is a good example of delayed gratification. You put some money in now, you take the money in your pocket and you put it away, or you put it into something where you can't touch the money, all because you just gave up your money. You don't have access to your money, but now you know that investment hopefully will pay you back even more in the future. Put $1 in now, you might get $2 back later, or $100 or $1 million back later. That's the whole concept of delayed gratification we talk about here today. Time perspective. This is not about delayed gratification, it's about time perspective, thinking about the future when you take your actions. Let's get into the points. Point number 1, people who lose in life only think about right now. Let me say that again. People who end up losing in life, the only thing they ever consider is what do they get right now. That's what happens to people who lose in life. So if you want to be a loser in life, all you got to do is only think about what you're going to get right here and right now from every action. Now, let me tell you some paradoxical. Let me give you some paradoxical game right here that y'all need to pay close attention to. What's the name of this? What's the name of the application that some of y'all are watching me on right now? I got Facebook Live here, but also this other one right here, the one that I'm pointing at the camera. What's the name of this application? Instagram. What does Instagram stand for? Is a combination of 2 words. Instant gram. Telegram meaning like an image. Instant gram. And it's not even that I'm singling out Instagram, because Facebook is just as guilty. Twitter is just as guilty. YouTube is kind of in a little bit different category, but we could put YouTube in there. We could definitely put Snapchat and TikTok into this category. These social media platforms. What are these social media platforms designed around? They are designed around giving you instant gratification. They are designed around keeping you paying attention, keeping you logged in, keeping you scrolling and commenting and reading and clicking and tapping and posting and whatever else you do on these apps, messaging, DMing, and reading. Their whole thing is built around giving you instant gratification. Every time you tap on something or scroll to something, you're going to get more gratification. You're going to see something else that somebody said. You're going to read somebody else's comment. You're going to get to watch something else funny. All they're doing is giving you instant gratification over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And here's the thing. I told you, I said this on my story earlier today. I said this on my story many times. The algorithm is smarter than all of us. The algorithm is smarter than me. The algorithm is smarter than you. The algorithm is smarter than the smartest person you know. If you don't know what the algorithm is, what I mean when I say that, the algorithm is the coding on the back end of these sites, especially a site like Instagram, especially something like Facebook, Twitter, maybe not as much, but it is true. But YouTube also. Their algorithm is designed to notice what you do when you get on these apps. It notices what you do. It notices who you follow. It sees whose pictures do you actually like. It sees what you comment on. It sees whose pictures you look at In case y'all thought y'all could look at somebody's profile, you know, you work on somebody's profile, you're not following them, and you never like any of their pics, but you're always looking. It knows, all right? The algorithm knows when you're looking at somebody's pictures, but you don't like anything. It knows what you're paying attention to, even when you're not making any actual engagement. It knows all of those things. It knows what you're writing in your DMs. So if you think your DMs, nobody's reading them, the people at the company, they're reading your DMs. They say that they're not. They're reading your DMs. They know everything that you got going on. So they know, based on their formula, because they're really smart. Like I said, the engineers who put this together and the what do they call it? Automated intelligence, artificial intelligence. It knows what you like. It has formulas based on what you've done in the past to guess what you would be interested in doing in the future. Therefore, it knows what kind of material to show you that's going to keep you engaged and keep you paying attention. And if they show you something that doesn't work, the next time they're going to try something different. And the next time they'll try something different. And next time they'll try something different. That's all they do. They call this an algorithm. The algorithm is smarter than any human being, which means this. It is designed to keep giving you instant gratification over and over and over again. And here's the thing. When we are given instant gratification, especially on a device that is right in our hands, we can hold it all the time, it's always with us, we're going to stay on it. But I just told you the time perspective, it showed that the people who are able to delay gratification and not be addicted to instant gratification, they become more successful in the long run of life. This Harvard professor was able to prove this scientifically. You can read the Brian Tracy book and get the information yourself. So what does that mean when it comes to these applications? Am I saying that they're wrong or that they're bad or that you shouldn't be on them? Well, it'd be impossible for me to say that, being that I'm using it right now. And many of you might have only known about me had I been using one of these applications. So I'm not telling you not to use them or that they're wrong, because that wouldn't make any sense. I'm telling you, you must have the self-discipline that even though you are getting a ton of instant gratification being on these apps, again, it is called Instagram. It's an instant gram, instant feedback, instant dopamine. You got to have the self-discipline to use it for what is necessary for. If you use it for business like I do, if you use it for communication with certain people, if you use it as a diversion, use it for entertainment, maybe a couple times a day. But other than that, you got to learn to turn it off, turn off the notifications, put it down, and focus on your business, your main business, whatever that happens to be. Unless you happen to be a professional Instagrammer or you happen to work for one of these platforms, this ain't your main job. You have to learn when to use these things and when not to use them so that you don't become the one who is getting used. In case any of you didn't know, in these applications, social media, the product is not, Instagram is not the product. The app is not the product. The product is you. You're the product. Mark Zuckerberg, you ask Mark Zuckerberg, what's his product? He's not going to say Facebook. His product is you. His product are the people that are using Facebook. The people who are using Instagram. And Facebook owns Instagram, in case y'all didn't know. On Twitter, the product is the people who are tweeting. On YouTube, the product is the people who are posting. Now, the company's people, if you ask them that publicly, they're probably not going to say that because it doesn't sound too good in a soundbite, but that's the actual product. You are the product. If all the people left Instagram, does the app matter? No. So you got to be smart enough to know when you need instant gratification, because we all need it at times, we're human, but you got to be able to delay that instant gratification. The question you got to ask yourself is, what can I get for doing this? What can I get for doing this thing and not getting the gratification now, but getting it later? With the effort that I put in today, how is it going to pay me back 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 months from now? And then ask yourself, look at your day. Look at your actions that you've been taking and ask yourself, what are my actions right now in my life is actually going to make me better in 5 years? What actions did I take today that are going to pay me back 6 months from now, but they're not paying me nothing right now? If you can't answer that question with anything you're doing that's going to pay you back in the future, everything you're doing is just based on right now, or you are setting yourself up to fail. You are setting yourself up to lose. Losers only think about what they can get right now in the moment. They are addicted to instant gratification. People who win in life, people who succeed in life, they are willing to delay gratification. They are willing to allow time to work for them and allow time to work with them. So they'll do something now and they'll get the payoff later. Point number 2. The topic here today is time, perspective, and how it relates to success. The key word for all of this is, well, I already told you one of the key words is discipline. Discipline is knowing that you can get instant gratification for doing this, but instead of doing this and getting instant gratification, you say, how about I do this instead, and I'll get 10 times the gratification, but I don't get it for a month, or I won't get it till tomorrow, or I don't get it for 3 weeks. That is the delayed gratification, but you get more of it if you're able to delay it. A lot of people are not able to delay it because they're so tied into their emotions and getting what they can get in the moment, the instant gratification. This is the reason why a lot of people fail in life. So the key word I already said, discipline. The other one is sacrifice. Sacrificing instant gratification to get delayed later gratification. So sacrifice is a discipline. So under the umbrella of discipline, you have sacrifice. The question you got to ask yourself is, what are you willing to give up now in order to be better in the future? It's a simple question. Maybe you've heard that question before. Maybe you read it before. Maybe you even said it to yourself before. The question is, are you actually doing it? What are you willing to give up now in order to be better in the future? What are you willing to give up now just to make a bet that you'll be better in the future? Because maybe it won't pay off. Maybe it won't. Maybe you won't be that great. If you could eat some fried chicken wings and a bag of chips and drink a soda right now, that would feel good. But it's probably not going to help your body in the long run if you're an athlete and you're training to run, the marathon or something later on this year, right? But just because you run a marathon don't mean you're going to win. Doesn't mean you're going to get a medal. Doesn't mean you're going to finish the marathon. Doesn't mean you won't get injured while you're running a marathon. So is it worth it? That's a bet you got to place. Because just because you delay gratification does not mean the later gratification is guaranteed to happen. And it doesn't mean that later gratification is absolutely guaranteed to be better than instant gratification. That's why it's a bet. You're placing a bet that this is going to work out. And that's where the discipline comes in. You're making a sacrifice of the success right now to get some more success later, but it's not guaranteed to happen. Are you willing to place that bet? That's a question that only you can answer. And don't answer where you're talking. You got to answer with your actions. For me personally, I've always been in great shape. I'm an athlete, and I've always worked out. Even though I don't play ball anymore, I still work out every single day. I still run. I still ride bikes. I still lift weights and do all that stuff. At least when the gym is open, lift weights. Still work out, but I love junk food. I love stuff like cakes, pies, certain ones, not all of them. Certain cakes, pies. I don't really mess with ice cream, but I do mess with water ice. If y'all don't know what water ice is, that's your fault. I apologize to you. Go to Philly, you can get some. What else do I like? I like candy, like Skittles, Twizzlers, Reese cups. I like junk food. I do like junk food. I can't deny that. But sometimes I gotta sacrifice the junk food so I can get my body into better shape. So it won't mess up my digestion. So it won't mess up my teeth. Because you mess up your teeth too much, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to get your teeth fixed by a good dentist. And it only costs you $2 to get that candy bar. Is it worth it? Again, the candy bar only costs you $2, but the dentist costs $2,000. Are you willing to delay the gratification to get something better in the future, or to not have to deal with something bad in the future? This is all under the umbrella of discipline, all under the umbrella of sacrifice to get what you want in the future. But understand, this is a bet. Just because you delay gratification today does not guarantee that you're going to be successful tomorrow. But you're placing a bet that you will be successful, and you got to be disciplined enough, and you got to be self-determined enough that since you made that bet of delayed gratification. So it's kind of like this. If I say I'm not going to eat any candy, I don't really even eat candy like that no more. I usually eat water ice and fruit. That's enough sugar for me, but because I was able to be disciplined enough to get off of it. But let's say you like eating Snickers bars and peanut butter cups, right? And you say, I'm going to stop eating that stuff for like 3 months so I can get in my best shape, so I can win this boxing match, so I can make this basketball team, so I can run this 5K and get the medal, and I can finish it in under 30 minutes. So you put aside all these things that you love, all these instant gratifications, you put them aside so you can get the delayed gratification in 3 months. Just because you did that, check this out. Just because you delayed gratification does not guarantee that you're going to get the gratification later on. Because if I put aside eating candy for 3 months just so I can win a boxing match, I might still lose the boxing match. I might still not finish that 5K race. I might still not make the basketball team, even though I made all those sacrifices just to get the opportunity. So that's the bet. So here's what I would suggest that you do. How do you hedge that bet? How do you get that bet? How do you weigh the odds in your favor for that bet? What you do is, once you decide that you are delaying gratification, you're putting a lot of things that you like aside just so you can focus, so you can get that outcome, is that you must make the decision that because I put aside all these things that I want, because I'm delaying all this gratification, because I'm taking all this instant gratification and putting it aside, because I'm doing that, I'm going to make sure that this bet pays off. I'm going to make sure that I win this bet. Yeah, everybody's heard the phrase betting on yourself, right? All right, I did a master class, Work on Your Game University. It's right there at the bottom, Work on Your Game U. I did a master class on this, how to bet on yourself and win, how to guarantee that you win when you bet on yourself. Because one thing to bet is another thing to win. All right, any of you been to Vegas? All right, just because you sit down at that table doesn't mean you're going to win money. All right, most of the time you lose money. So you got to know how to win when you bet on yourself. And I did a master class on that. Again, you can access that at Working Your Game University. So this second point here is the key word here, sacrifice, along with discipline. Point number 3. The topic today, for those who came in the middle of me speaking, is time, perspective, and success. I want to remind you all something about people who lead in life, leaders. And I'm not just talking about leading other people, but also people who can lead themselves. A lot of people can't even be leaders of their own selves, let alone can they lead anybody else. Leaders and winners in life. People who win, people who succeed, people who decide they're going to make something happen, and then they actually make it happen. You know those type of people I'm talking about? You know what they do? They're always looking to their future. And when I say always looking to the future, I don't mean that they don't pay attention to what's going on right now, like their heads in the clouds and just zoning out and daydreaming. What I mean is leaders and winners are always thinking about, how do my current actions affect the future versions of me? That's what leaders do. They're always saying, all right, if I do this right now, how is this going to help me tomorrow? How is this going to help me next week? If I do this thing right now that will feel great right now, is it going to be a good decision in 3 months? Am I going to be happy that I did this 2 years from now? Is the 5 years from now me going to be happy about the decisions that I made today? People who win in life are always asking themselves these questions. Some people consciously understand these questions. A lot of people do it unconsciously. But either way, their actions and decisions are based on, is my future self going to be happy about this? Is my future self going to thank me? Everyone who's listening to me right now, ask yourself this. Are you happy with the decisions that 3 years ago you made that led you to being where you are right now? 3 years ago, that was what? Summer of 2017. Think about that person. Think about the summer of 2017. Everybody remembers that, right? Think about what you did that summer. Now ask yourself if the decisions you made then are helping you out now. Yes or no? And that's it. That's not a I gotta think about it question. That's a yes or no question. Decisions you made 3 years ago, are they helping you now or are they hurting you now? Are they paying you back now or are you paying them back? Or do you have a balance, an outstanding balance that you got to pay back because you owe? Are you still in the red for the decisions you made 3 years ago? Or are you eating real good off the decisions you made 3 years ago? I tell you, I didn't even do this on purpose, but this book, I signed a publishing deal to do this book 3 years ago. Is it paying me back? I would say yes. What decisions did you make 3 weeks ago? Forget 3 years ago. 3 weeks ago. What decisions did you make 3 weeks ago, and are they paying you back now? What decisions did you make in January? 6 months ago. Almost 6 months ago. And are they paying you back now? What decisions are you making today, and at the end of the year, on New Year's Eve 2020, right before 2021, or Christmas this year, are you going to be happy about what you did this summer? Winners and leaders are always considering the future versions of themselves. Losers and failures, they spend all their time in the past thinking about things that they can't change, or in the present only doing things to serve their instant need for gratification. Successful people are always thinking about, how is this decision affecting the future version of me? So even if you've never done this before, if you've never thought about it before, you can start using this concept right now today. As soon as this live is over, actually you can start using it while this live is going. What decisions can I make right now that are going to actually pay me back in the future? We call these investments, right? Everybody knows what investment is. Investment, even if you don't partake in investment means you put something in now and ideally you get more out of it later. All right, that's what investment means. You put a little bit, put $1 in now, you get $2 back tomorrow, or 10 years from now, or however long it takes. You put a whole bunch of effort and time in right now, and you get big muscles in 3 months. Now, you spend time with that guy or girl that you're interested in now, and then 2 years from now, they're your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband, and you got a family. That is investment. You put something in now, get something out later. Look at every action that you take. Are you making investments only to pay yourself back immediately, instant gratification, or are you making some delayed gratification choices? When you see people who seem to be winning so much and they got so many great things going on, it's not because they are supremely talented or that they're super duper smart or they're lucky. It's none of that. is because these people have made a whole bunch of delayed gratification decisions in the past, and now you weren't around when they were making those decisions because they weren't getting any attention, because they was doing stuff that didn't draw any attention because they didn't have anything yet. But now that all of those investments that they made back in the day that could have been 3 weeks, 3 years, 10 years ago, now all those investments are paying off. Now you see all this winning that they're doing. You're like, damn, how is this person always winning? How is this person always succeeding? They made those investments a long time ago. You weren't around when they were doing that. You weren't around when they were putting that work in. So the question is, do you want to become that person, or you just want to spend the rest of your life talking about those people, following those people, watching their social media pages and see what they're talking about, when you want to become the person that everybody else is talking about? And that's based on the decisions you make today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, because you can't change that, today. Start making those right decisions today, and you're going to get the payoff in the future. And I'm going to answer everybody's questions in a minute. So what I'm going to do right now, before I recap these points, I'm going to tell you about 2 of these books that you can get for free right now. This right here is called this one here is called Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book, 237 pages, teaches you how to play professional basketball overseas. It gives you the whole blueprint. Even if you're like me, I went to a D3 school where I walked on, didn't have any prospects. I did not have an agent. I didn't have any teams looking at me when I got out of college. Still made a professional career happen. You want to do that? Get this blueprint that I laid out for you. You get this book at balloverseas.com. It's 237 pages. Everything you need to know is in it. I've already paid for the book. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. Get this at balloverseas.com. Everybody got that? Let's say it together. Balloverseas.com. Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This book right here, it's called The Mirror of Motivation and Self-Guidance, Self-Discipline. Any of you who doesn't play basketball and you want to get your first step into what I'm about, you just got it by listening to this. But you want to get more, this is where you start. I made this book free because I want to make it super easy for everybody to get it. This is at mirrorofmotivation.com. What it is about, the subtitle is the self-guidance, self-discipline. It's all about taking your mentality and taking yourself to a new level, stepping into a new you, stepping out of the old you into a new you with a new energy, a new perspective. See yourself differently when you look in the mirror. And when you do that, your actions will change, your results will change. If that sounds like what you want, if that's not you, I can't help you. But if that sounds like what you want, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. That's the title of the book. Just take out the word the, mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is free. All you do is take care of the shipping, mirrorofmotivation.com. Everybody got that? I'll tell you about this book in a minute. Now I'm going to recap these points, and I'm going to take all questions. If somebody got a question, go ahead and post it in the comment section. Make sure it's good and keep it short. The topic here today is your time perspective on success. Again, Brian Tracy told this story of a professor named Edward Banfield at Harvard University about how people who reach higher levels of success, higher incomes in society, he was basing it on income, higher levels of success / income, was based on their time perspective. The more successful a person was, the further into the future they considered every decision. And the less successful a person was, the shorter into the future they considered their decisions. They basically made decisions based on instant gratification. People who became more successful made further into the future delayed gratification decisions. Point number 1, people who lose in life only think about right now. Number 2, the key word here is sacrifice along with discipline. What are you willing to give up now to be better in the future? Sounds simple, everybody says it, but are you actually doing it? And point number 3, leaders and winners, they are always thinking about the future. They're considering, is their future self going to appreciate what their current self is doing? Think about what you did today, up to this point today. Is tomorrow's version of you going to be happy with the investments that you made today, with your time, with your attention, with your energy, with your money, and with your focus? If the answer is no, then you need to start making different decisions starting right now. You can't change the past, but you can make different decisions starting today. Next year, next summer, 2021, is the 2021 version of you going to be happy with what the 2020 version of you did to set them up for your future life? If you don't like the answer to that question, you got some changes that you can start making right now, and you ain't got no excuses because I'm putting it right in front of your face. So someone asked earlier about audiobooks. Every book that I've ever made is available in audio. All right, every book I've ever made is available physical, digital, and audio. Bogo just said the 90s. All right, yeah, maybe it was the early 90s. Tavon was good. Let's see. Hoop Loud. Swan again. Shout out to Canada. We've been shipping books to Canada all week. Lord GPA said that decision and work led me to being a pro and a trainer now. That's what's up, but you got the right concept. You got it. Lord, all right, well, we answered the question about the blueprint. You got that, right? balloverseas.com. Question is, what forms of payment do I accept for one-on-one consulting? Straight cash, homie. Just like Randy Moss. Straight cash. Ain't got to be hand-to-hand cash. You know, we get the COVID-19 social distancing, but you could pay by, credit or debit. Question is, what systems do you put in order to make sure you don't consume more than you produce on these platforms? Man, well, I got a schedule of what I produce. If I'm producing, I ain't got time to be consuming. So today I was recording, how many videos I recorded? I've recorded like 8 videos today. Did a bunch of writing. So those are my priorities. And if I'm fulfilling my priorities, then I don't have time to do a whole lot of consuming. So there's no time left. I basically filled my schedule up with the work that I need to be doing for myself, which is not really based on consumption. It's really based on production. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I make a schedule for myself. Anybody can do this. Make a schedule for yourself for what you're supposed to be doing during the day. I think a lot of people have schedules, right? As long as you're doing what's on the schedule, there's usually not going to be time in there that says, all right, waste 45 minutes on Instagram. I don't think anybody ever puts that on their schedule. So if you're doing that, you're not adhering to your own schedule. So you need to start showing respect for yourself and respecting your own business, and don't waste time on things that aren't paying you back, such as scrolling through a timeline on any one of these feeds. That doesn't mean you can't ever consume. Listen, I use Instagram. I post on here all the time and things like that. But I do it in the downtime that's scheduled. So for example, to answer your question further, if I'm eating lunch or something, I'm not working at the same time. So I'll just eat, and then maybe I'm eating with one hand, I have my phone, I'll just scroll through, I'll catch up on my Twitter timeline while I'm doing that, because I use Twitter as like my news source. But something like Instagram, I don't really scroll on Instagram. I don't go to the Explore tab. I don't be clicking on nobody's profiles and looking at random pictures of people who I don't know. I don't go to Explore. I don't even scroll down my own timeline. So if I'm following you on Instagram and I never like none of your pictures, it's not because I'm hating on you. It's just because I never scroll the timeline. So unless yours pops up as the very first one, when I open it, I don't see nobody's stuff. All I do is open it. I post my stuff. I post the stories. I check my DMs. And I check the notifications. That's it. That's all I do on Instagram. And I do these lives. That's it. I don't be looking at nobody else's stuff. I don't care what nobody else got going on. I'm not in nobody else's business. So hopefully that answers your question. Question is, you be busy throughout the day being an entrepreneur. How much sleep do you think you get in a week? I get 8 hours of sleep. I go to bed I get up early. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up before 4 every day. And I go to bed at around 8. That's 8 hours right there. 8 to 4, 8 hours. Most days. Now, if I'm traveling or something like that, that schedule might get changed. But on a normal day like today, it's 5:48. Listen, 2 hours from now, I will be laying in bed. And 11 hours from now, I'll be outside running. 9 hours. That 9 hours, I'm just trying to get my math right. 10 hours from now, I'm going to be waking up. Almost 10 hours on the dot. I don't use an alarm clock either. But I'm conditioned for this. I'm not trying to impress you. Somebody said, can we send a check? No, I don't take checks. If you want to write a check, you could just do a bank transfer. If that's what you want to do, just send us an email. Send me an email. Rowdy, send an email, and we could do a bank transfer, but it does have to go through. Once it goes through, then we good. All right, so again, mirrormotivation.com. This book is free. All you do is take care of the shipping. balloverseas.com. This book is free. All you do is take care of the shipping. This book right here, Working Your Game, this book ain't free, but I'm giving you $1,200 in digital bonuses immediately as soon as you order the book. So while, of course, you got to wait for us to ship the book for you in the mail. So while you're waiting for this to come in the mail, it will not take long. Trust me. We're going to give you over $1,200 in digital bonuses right now. So you got something to pay attention to now. It's going to give you value. It's not wasted time. This ain't going to be no Instagramming. This is going to be something that's going to give you value now. Then when the book comes, you already know what time it is. It's just 250 pages. The best of, and there's a picture of me in the back. The best of my philosophy is condensed down to 250 pages in this book here. If I wrote down everything I ever said, then the book would be 1,000,000 pages. But we condensed it down. We reduced it down to 250 just to make sure y'all get the best. Jane says, you be up going for walks early in the morning, motivated me to get my workout in. That's what's up. Shout out to everybody getting their workout in. Now, depending on what city you're in, you might have to wear a mask, so be careful. Question is, what's the price for a consultation? Send me a DM. Depends on what you need. If I make myself available, that ain't my full-time business, but I do if somebody asks, and I think I can help them. All right, so everybody, again, mirrormotivation.com, balloverseas.com. Y'all know what it is. I do these lives every single day. Time is 5:15 p.m. Eastern when I do these lives. If I ever change the time, I'll let you know. So just follow me. Stay tuned. If you want to see the replay of this, I post it to my IGTV. I don't always post it to the feed, but if you just go to my profile and click on the little IGTV button, you'll see these. I'll post them there. And also on Facebook.com/work on your game. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Stay hydrated. It's hot out here. Work on your game. Dre all day.